rescues domestic animals. They are located in Fort Worth again, and reach out to other communities in the Dallas and Fort Worth greater area. They do rescue abandoned, neglected, sick, and injured animals. Saving Hope is a foster-based rescue, meaning every animal is placed in a loving home until adoption, spayed, neutered, microchipped, and fully vetted by a veterinarian. Again, the Saving Hope Animal Rescue, the proud sponsors of this evening's Hope Cup. We are just minutes away from the first horse in that competition.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So good afternoon and welcome to the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum here in Fort Worth in Texas as we prepare for our October Hill Farm Meter 40 National Winning Round. The Hope Cup will be awarded for this, a competition that has been awarded at all of the Texas shows with which Erin Davis Heineken and her husband Christian have been involved. And the Hope Cup named after the Saving Hope canine adoption program that Erin has been instrumental in helping support as well. That's the derivation of the Hope Cup. October Hill Farm, Erin and her sisters own training property here in Fort Worth as well, the named sponsor of this competition, and $20,000 in the prize fund. So winning round format slightly different to the normal USEF winning round format. We're using the FEI articles, and therefore what that means is it's a set number, 10 come back. We have 11 or 12 clears. It's 10 that come back based on faults and time. So that time, all important. If you are the fastest clear round, you will come back last as well. And we will bring back, if we bring back anyone with faults, they carry those faults forward. In some formats of this competition, you go back 0 in the winning round. In this one, no. You bring forward the faults. So, but it is still quite dynamic. If you come forward with 4, if you're lucky enough to get into that 10, you could still make your bones with a fast clear in the second round, putting pressure on others who had been clear in the first round. They could easily, chasing your time, have a rail and fall behind you. Rachel Lindsay is our first to go. Rachel with Judocus VR. Huge national entries here once again this year at Fort Worth, and Judocus and Rachel come to us from Austin here in Texas. Around this track set by Anderson Lima, assisted by Nick Granat. Just did the ad up there and it didn't work out for them, unfortunately. You just saw them take a little bit of a hop and skip on the final approach to the Lugano as the horse just tried to take in and understand, you know, it said that pale, flat color of the Lugano brand going up into then the VIP end of the ring. It'd be a lot more than a lot of these horses are used to seeing. Rachel and Judocus with the early standard, but it is with faults, so we still look for our first clear round here in the October Hill Farm meter 40 over 2 rounds. 8 in all, 66.841 for Rachel and Judocus. Nico Gamboa, MKH Honey Badger. Nico with great job riding for Christian and Aaron here in Texas, and as Christian finally took a bit of time off at the beginning of this year, having had a final operation on his leg that he'd been carrying an injury and a niggle for quite a while. He really concentrated on his rehab, and that let Nico step up into the saddle of a lot of the top flight horses, and he really took that opportunity. There was very few weekends this year, all through April, May, June, when we weren't seeing top quality results coming in from Nico with that string. Just letting this horse, MKH Honey Badger, settle a little bit into his work. You saw that, you know, they were maybe just a little bit lucky around this ring earlier on. Nico's had quite a mixed bag. He's been on the podium plenty of times. He's actually been on the dirt here a couple of times as well. He's 4 faults in 67 here, so that's the leader at the moment. But is it going to be enough to come back as one of the best 10? It is, it must be said. You know, a relatively high strike rate. There's only 21, 22 or so on the start list, so it's a 1 in 2 pretty much opportunity to make it through to that winning round. But the better you can get there, 0 score, going late in the draw because you were fast in this round. That's the real game, the tactic. So a national winner here with us this week. International winner last year here in Fort Worth in the Will Rogers Memorial Coliseum as well. Hunter Holloway, out of Kansas, rides Ombre de la Sens. Hunter also on the 4 thus far. Interesting watching the divisions play out here right the way up from the meters and below jumpers. Our very first class here on Wednesday morning was a meter speed, and we've got some smaller classes yet to come, so that the whole, you know, World Cup, World Class indoor competition opportunity at the same high level is presented right through the day and right through the levels, grassroots to gold medals here at Fort Worth. But it's been interesting watching the classes and the divisions develop because, you know, at every level, Anderson Lima has sort of taken the cue of the profile, the caliber of this show, and said, I'm just going to set these towards the championship end, the higher end. People have had to come here and, you know, really jump. And you haven't seen clears being given away for free. We had a lot of clears, for instance, in the 2 phases early on, speeds on day 1, you know, 2/3 of the class jumping clear. He's certainly, with the national classes, which he hasn't necessarily taken the option to do in the internationals, he's eased them into it. But when it comes to these big classes, you know, and this is the second biggest class on our national tour, this 2-rounder, building up towards the Jarvis Insurance National Prix on Sunday, you know, he's not going to let them win this money easy. They have to come in here and jump at the level, at the standard that the specifications call for. So that came apart a little bit for Hunter. She's on 12 faults at the moment, so it is the 4 for Nico Gamboa and Honey Badger that is out in front. Daniel Bedoya riding this horse, Kimi de Mercé. Monica Hanks out of the Woodlands here in Texas. So 5 strides in there very neatly on the line, 5.26. Water tray up there in the corner of the ring onto the October Hill Farm as well, just increasing that. The October Hill Farm has been a tough fence, actually. You know, in the courses where Anderson has really set it up to be influential, it has been exactly that. We've seen that plank come down as well. You can see, you know, he's got a slight dogleg bending line. He's got a related distance there. He's got you coming around the bottom of the ring, away from the in-gate. And even then, he still amps it up that little bit more by putting the plank rail on top. But this is good. This is our first clear round, 67, 5.57 for Daniel Bedoya and Kimi del Mercé. And that is our leader in the clubhouse, hoping to be one of the 10 that comes back. The number of clears we have so far are clear. If the statistics played out, should definitely see you through to the winning round. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but a very, very good place to be at the moment, with 4 or 5 having jumped and having the only clear round. Is it going to be fast enough, though, to come late in that winning round if they do come back to us? We shall see. Daniel Bedoya and Kimi de Mercé are clear round number 1 of the October Hill Farm meter 40 winning round. Happy Cumley, Derby CSH. Another rider from right here in Texas. Yeah, there's no doubt that Erin Davis Heineken, on the local organizing committee of this horse show, has, you know, beaten the jungle drum, shaken the tree of the Texas horse show community to make sure they all come here, but did exactly the same last year, and here we are looking at more of them returning this year. And, you know, again, for sure it's challenging to come and jump these big courses, to jump in an atmospheric arena like this, but by the same token, it's a challenge that these Texan riders in particular have really relished. And, you know, it's great to see them come back, return in the main, and as I say, to have our field of horses and riders grow in the second year here of the Fort Worth International. Being here in the Coliseum, it has previously been, if you know the stock show showgrounds here, in the John Justin Arena. Just tough down that final line. You didn't feel that they were just in a great place. They paddled a little bit through the Vitalize, and then they weren't able to just make the distance quite work for them down to the Longines. So 3 down, 12 jumping faults for the pair. That's our second on 12 as well. Same score as Hunter Holloway, so they will be divided by time, the pair of them. And Happy is slower, so goes into the 5th place. Prosper Texas's Olivia Clayton next to go. Olivia with Leroy. Olivia's just picked up a very pleasing pace. This looks like the sort of pace that this horse is very comfortable in, finding this meter 40 standard, within the comfort zone, and it's a pace that, if they can keep it up, leave everything standing, should be very competitive if it propels them through to the winning round. You can see them coming forward quite late in the draw. does a nice job, like a lot of jumpers, just goes between the jumps, his nose up in the air, but has a good habit then of looking down, locking in and focusing on the final approach. It's just a shame the first part of that green and white double has been down, because this was otherwise very nicely ridden round from Olivia Clayton and Leroy. They can stay on just 4. Our fastest 4-faulter, 67.168. It is just a shade slower than that, 67.184. So Olivia will go into third with 4 faults. This could be a really interesting afternoon of sport, actually, because it seems like we're maybe not going to get those 10 clears. So we'll have a few people bringing forward 4 faults. And, you know, when you look there at the way Olivia rode around, if she can deliver a clear in that sort of forward-going pace, she could put a lot of pressure on those who do come forward on a 0 score. Frank Owens is our next to go. Frank rides this one for DS Holdings out of San Antonio, Texas. This is just Jeremy E.S. Equine Athlete Veterinary Services giving their name and sponsorship to the first on course. We're paying tribute to the leading members of that veterinary practice, who is a sad loss to the equestrian community here in Texas over the course of the last 12 months. They are returning partners with us, and in particular, you know, paid back to their clients a little bit by supporting our rider reception. A fantastic party here the other night in Fort Worth, Texas. Dueling pianos and cocktails help the riders settle in to their week of jumping ahead here in Fort Worth. Probably just hunted a little bit hard down there. Again, the speed that they were carrying just left them in a little bit of a tricky spot, close into that first part. And the horse then, knowing that he was jumping fast, jumping low, jumping flat, and jumping deep into the distance, probably just backed himself off a little bit, so broke the rhythm of his jumping style. That first vertical as well is also on yellow cups, so quite difficult because the yellow cups are shallower. So a very unlucky 4. But it is 64.416, so it is fast. So Frank Owens plays the numbers. Nico Gamboa down to third, Olivia Clayton down to fourth. They are our 3 on 4 faults. Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Sigma. Of course, we've seen Luis riding the international tour here the last 2 years in Fort Worth. I'll see him line out tomorrow night in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier here in Fort Worth, hoping to follow up on a good result here last year and also to reinforce the points he picked up earlier on this season on the North American League. The finals here coming to the United States next spring in Omaha, Nebraska. Luis, who's now based here in the US out on the West Coast, would love to find himself competing at those finals. Multiple winner of the Nations Cup Grand Prix in Portugal at Lisbon. So you can take the man out of Portugal, but you can't take the desire to ride that show out of the Portuguese competitor. Luis made a big effort this year to get himself back over there and ride in that Grand Prix again, even though he's now been full-time here for nearly 3 years, actually, in the US. Luis working with a lot of clients and students as well across the national classes of our show here at Fort Worth. He's putting on a riding demonstration here. This is a very, very good round. You can see it's, you know, the horse isn't giving him the easiest ride, and Luis is working hard, but you can see the reaction. You can see the result of every move he makes. The horse does something for him, and it gets better. You know, he comes a little bit out of shape, he moves his seat, he moves his hand, and then the horse is there on the right spot to jump that fence. So that is clear. Luis Sabino Gonçalves, its time is important. He is faster than Daniel Bedoya, 64.398, 3 seconds faster if that came into play in the winning round. You could look at the fact that Luis Sabino Gonçalves is the fastest of anyone around the first round track. Again, and that's with Sigma Stables of San Diego, California's Sigma, not necessarily giving him the easiest ride. That might be unusual for the horse. It might be totally usual. But if it is unusual for the horse, Luis Sabino is now about to take the next 10 or 15 minutes before he prepares for the winning round, because he's pretty much guaranteed to come back to us. Just seeing if he can get the horse back in the shape that's so usual, and then they could be even faster. Texas's Trap O'Neill with Epic Sport Horses. Epic Debut goes next. Again, Trap, a lot of horses here himself, a lot of clients here jumping with us at Fort Worth, and Trap, another rider who we're seeing across the weekend in the International, the World Cup Tour here in Texas. And a returning rider as well, of course, representing the state in Fort Worth 12 months ago, and will do so again tomorrow night. $250,000 in the prize fund of that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier here. I like that little bit of problem solving as well, because as a pair, they went in the 100% perfect spot coming down to that vertical. The October Hill is just seeming to push them a little bit down towards the vertical going into the green and white. They're finding themselves closer in. But Trap just knew to sit quiet, ask the question, and let this horse's very, very quick and neat front end do the business. Epic Debut, unfortunately, will just have the front rail out of the other double. The double of verticals sponsored by Vitalize up in the corner of the ring. So it is unfortunately going to be 4 false. And Trap wasn't necessarily chasing the fastest possible time. So Trap's time, 66.838. It's actually the second fastest 4 faulter, it must be said. Frank Owens in third, Trap in fourth, Nico Gamboa down to fifth. But 2 clears. Austrian rider, again based here in the US for a very long time. Peter Petschening. Peter with Conspirit. Petschening show jumping, sending out client after client across the national divisions here this weekend as well. We don't have Peter riding the international tour this week, so this will be, you know, amongst the top horses he has here at Fort Worth, looking at this 2-rounder, looking at the Jarvis National Prix on Sunday afternoon. So Conspirit, Peter Petschening, clear so far as they jump the Neon Bunnies. You just hear, I mean, if you just closed your eyes and listen to this round, you go, it's getting maybe closer. The horse touching the rails doesn't seem to be making him cleaner. He's still just lightly touching down every so often. We saw it at the October Hill. We saw it at the Oxer coming out of the double. Pete just does a real big half halt up in the corner to set up for the double of verticals. Oh my goodness, heartbreaking. He said it was coming, it was coming, it was coming, and unfortunately, what a heartbreaker that it comes at the very last. It's down for Peter Petschening and Conspirit. The back rail off the final fence on course for 4 faults. As I say, 4 faults is not necessarily a deal breaker so far, because in a time of 65.036, he goes himself now into 4th place. 2 clears and 5 on 4 faults. Frank Owens still the fastest 4 faulter in 64.416. You just start to keep an eye. As we go over halfway, you start to keep an eye now on who is our first automatic qualifier. Matt Seifert's going to bring us kind of up to that halfway point. Matt with his own Lochinvar. Good Scottish name for a man who's from a town called Argyle. It's Argyle in Texas. Matt could feel justly proud as the godfather of this show, or the matchmaker. Aaron Davis Heineken, having run horse shows here and been involved in the running of horse shows in Fort Worth, hometown, was then trying to think maybe about the next step, and it was Matt who suggested that she get in touch with Derek Braun's Split Rock Jumping Tour team. This is a good round. Matt Seifert, is he going to be disappointed at the last? No, he's not. He's clear. And again, nothing guaranteed just yet, but a clear is looking very, very valuable here this afternoon. It is time-wise good enough for second place. Luis Sabino Gonçalves still the fastest of anyone with the clear with Sigma. But now we have 3 clear rounds, at least 3 riders coming back for the winning round on the clean sheet. How many of the 10 coming back will be on that clean sheet? Ava Myers is our next to go. Ava, who's a winner here earlier on today. Ava rides out of the Heineken Show stables. Myers Family Investments, Chico P. A young rider to watch as well, because I was lucky enough to go to the Pin Oak Charity Horse Show one of the weeks there, just outside Houston here in Texas last year. And that was, I think, the first place I really saw Ava ride, and she was mixing it right through the biggest tour that week, going right through to the Grand Prix and delivering a lot of good results, and actually riding some nice young horses as well for herself and for the Heinekens, and delivering results on them. Herself and Nico Gamboa were a good 1-2 punch for the Heineken Show stables during the week I was watching down there. Chico P and Ava coming to this green and white double. They're clear through there again. A horse with a great technique, quick technique. Sailed a little bit free over that plank there. You'd say it'd be quite risky if you didn't know the horse and rider combination as well as, of course, the pair know each other. They took the risk, they paid off for them. Oh, they really, really touched and rubbed that front rail. I'm not sure you could have touched it a millimetre harder and not have it fall. Ava and Chico, they jump clear, and they are the fastest of the now 4 clear rounds. So they currently are the pair that would come back last in the winning round. But remember as well, whilst we've waited a long while for clears, now we're starting to pick them up. 4 clears. 4 of the 10 places available in the winning round are currently filled by clear rounds, and there's no reason why we couldn't get clears all the way home now. And then it would have to come down to time, because even if we have 12, 13, 14 clear rounds, we will only be taking 10 back based on faults and time. Ned Cunniff, Whipstick Farm out of South Salem, New York's Contrastara. Of course, Ailish Cunniff riding well in our Winter World Cup circuit. Ailish, who's ridden some of those very, very good and important Nations Cups this year for the United States. Ned, we're yet to see as frequently at the top level of the sport, but I've no doubt that that is the program, that's the glide path. The Neon Bunnies has gone pretty much for the first time in this initial round of jumping, but again, without anything really being the bogey fence and not huge scores on anyone. You know, most of our riders have been clear or 4 faults. We still would say, you know, there's a good spread of the fences in the ring so far have been down at one stage or another, just showing the quality of the designer. And the test he has set, so appropriate to the level. Ned has just that single fence down, 4 faults and 71.954, so it is amongst the steadiest. It will go actually into the 10th place. So as they say here in North America, Ned is on the bubble. He will be the first to be pushed out by any round and score that is better. But again, you know, and we see it there before, without going down to real place, you know, how much Ned is reaching forward, congratulating and thanking his horse. So 8 or 9 to go on the list I hold. It's Charlie Carroll with Colts Unlimited out of Sheridan, Wyoming's Bandolero H takes up the challenge. So at the moment, looks like Ava Myers, possibly also Luis Sabino Gonçalves, their place in the second round secure. Matt Seifert, Daniel Bedoya, just waiting another few turns to see whether their clear is fast enough to be guaranteed. And to know early on, I mean, that helps as well, because when you know that you're guaranteed, you're nailed on, you're definitely starting in that second round, you can start working through your warm-up, your build-up program for that side of the competition. You know, and the numbers remaining, with the 4 faults coming in at the green and white here for Charlie, that definitely puts Luis Sabino through. So shame with the Vitalize going as well. It's a round that, you know, clear more than halfway around, and then just started to pick up the rails. The green and white, the Lugano and the Vitalize all down, unfortunately, for Charlie to make it 12 jumping forwards. So another Nations Cup rider, Australian rider based here just latterly in the United States, James Arkins. Jovaro, as I say, it's so recently he's come up, his hometown on the Federation paperwork is still listed as Moss Vale, New South Wales, rather than his US base. Went to the World Championships this year in Europe, at Herning in Denmark, having been on the Australian Nations Cup team. And he jumped a very, very good double clear on the Australian Nations Cup team in early June up at Thunderbird in British Columbia in Canada. It's great. Those red and yellow cowboy boots have actually been on the tour with Split Rock. But I'm sure put into the show inventory very much to be a sort of feature here. These Western motifs as well, the Western mosaics. Again, a fence that looks so at home here in Fort Worth. James and Jovaro going nicely. This is a horse with international experience under his belt as well. Has jumped FEI classes, but James just pointing him this week in the direction of the top flight of national jumping here at the Split Rock Jumping Tour, Fort Worth International. So 62.924 was the fastest clear for Ava Myers. This will be clear, but it is significantly slower. 68.532. It is a clear round number 5, and as you can see there, goes into 5th position. So pushes, as we said, Charlie Carroll out of the top 10. It is going to deliver. Sorry, Ned Cunniff out of the top 10, and it is going to deliver a guaranteed starting spot in the winning round by our very rough reckoning to Matt Seifert and Lochin Var. So Daniel Bedoya waits in the wings to see whether his place in the winning round will be confirmed as a result of what we're about to watch from Avery Eriksson. Avery with Chaco Lay. Avery owns and rides this one, hailing from Lucas, Texas, to show with us here this week in Fort Worth. Paulina Costa. sends us this one of Colleen's clients. Colleen, who's looking forward to jumping the World Cup with us again tomorrow night, having done so with us 12 months ago. Well, I was about to say Colleen had earned her trainer's fee because she'd discussed and prepared here with Avery a plan that was getting them jumped, but it is 4 faults. It's not a bad time. 67.828 with the 4 faults. Let's see what that means. It's 11th. It's straight outside the qualification zone, unfortunately, for Avery, and it is, whilst it's bad news for Avery, as we say, it seems like, again, by our reckoning, it's good news for Daniel Bedoya. So 4 of our 5 clears know that they have their place ready to come back to us. Five clear rounds, though, we have to hand. 4 know they're coming back. James Arkins waits to see. Well, if he goes clear, even if he has 4, this man has the potential to be very fast. Watching him in the international tour this week, and he has 3 international horses with a tremendous support to the show. He will be fast. Arturo Parada Vallejo. Arturo has been a winner also at this top flight national this week. Botero, owned by Durango Farms out of California. Melissa Vallejo. I have to say, I don't wish will to any athlete, but I just would find this class so fascinating if we could, in amongst our 10, get a couple through with the 4 faults, because it makes us such a dynamic winning round. And you know, this could be one of them on that basis now, with the fast Arturo having picked up the rail, coming home on 4 faults. Look at that, he's not even over 60 seconds by the time he gets through the Vitalize. He jumps to Longines, he comes home, he's 64.655. He is not the fastest 4-faulter, but he's very, very close. He goes into 7th place behind Franco as Pete Petchening gets dropped down the order. And that means now that all of our clears will come back. They know they have their places. Our 4-faulters like Franco and Arturo Parado, Pete Petchening, Trap O'Neill, Nico Gamboa need to wait and see. Nico Gamboa is the score on the bubble, 4 faults and 67.168. Taylor Manning. Orlando van der Ketje. Rider out of Magnolia, Texas this time. Just here, go to the voice, asking the horse to come back a little bit. It's got a bit keen, and going down that line, of course, you're going directly towards the in-gate. And that probably acted a little bit like a sort of a tractor beam for the horse going down there. So good reaction from Taylor, a good, step in, a good intervention. Clear will go straight into the winning round. Taylor Manning and Corlander deliver the clear. 68.910 is 6th place. It is clear round number 6. It goes into 6th. As I say, we reckon we've got 6 who know that they have their place. And Taylor Manning rides straight into the winning round there on a clear. Cocky Doo and Rachel Lindsay seen this pair go well. What are they going to be able to do here in the October Hill Farm initial round, the winning round format? This is for the award of the Hope Cup as well, as we mentioned, the Saving Hope adoption campaign. 4 rescued dogs here in Texas. A lot of great work done by them. Not often those cowboy boots have gone down. Again, what we have set by Anderson is just fascinating, because you looked at, if you just looked at line to line, 1 to 2, it's not the most complicated line, but it's where it sits. Number 2 is quite hard up against the end of the ring. The horses look and try and work out how much room they have on the landing side. The approach into number 1 is just coming past the in gate, past the decorated Christmas tree, off quite a sharp turn. He's had a lot of sharp turns into his firsts. But the line itself, not that tough. But when you consider the in and the out of the line, and that's the same with every single line on this course, Anderson is using the ring incredibly intelligently and incredibly cleverly to amp up his courses. Courses that just in isolation and thought about without thinking about your surroundings might appear a little bit on the lower technical side. It's the room, the atmosphere that is bringing in the extra, the X factor that's making these courses this weekend really good competitions. They're courses that are generating really good competitions. So it looks therefore like Frank Owens and Just Jeremy with the fastest 4 falter should be ready to come back to us, with Rachel Lindsay having that score of 12. Of course, goes straight outside the qualification zone. Some of our slower 4 falters are already outside the best 10 who are eligible to come back. And remember, anyone who does have faults in the first round but stays top 10 will be bringing those faults forward to the second and winning round. Nico Gamboa having another go here. Nico had a good 4 falter earlier on with Honey Badger very early in the draw, but in fact has been overtaken several times, and he is now out of contention with Honey Badger. So this is Nico's chance with Gin to make it into our winning round. Ava Myers watching on from the Kiss and Cry. Now, my brain isn't what it was, but I feel like that's the fence Nico had down earlier on. I'm sure I'll get texts if I'm wrong. And Nico amps up the pace, so you can see he's actually really moved up a gear, because he'll be as aware as anyone of what a fast 4 faults might achieve. And look at that, 59.123. That is fast around this track. He's in 7th at the moment. Oh, it is so close. There are actually only, at worst, 2 remaining. So Nico, again, jumps straight into the winning round by my reckoning, even with 4. So he'll carry forward 4. Becomes the fastest 4 falter there in 7th. Frank Owens down to 8th. Arturo Parado Vallejo 9th. Pete Petchening and Con Spirit are the partnership that sit currently in the 10th spot. Hunter Holloway comes back to us. Hunter with Ombre de la Sens earlier on, and this time now riding Hayes Investment Corporation's La Rochelle. Again, another partnership that even before a successful run through this week, we've seen picking up the good results in the bread and butter classes and above for Hunter Holloway. So the scenario at the moment is that a clear of almost any speed inside the time allowed will get you into the winning round. But of course, you'll start low down. We come back in reverse order as well, so that very, very fast clear from Ava Myers and Chico P still leads the way. So Ava, at the moment, is still the rider who would come forward as 10th and last on a 0 score in the winning round. Ava's fastest time, 62.924. Hunter will be slower than that, but she's still on for a 0 here. Touches the last, but it stays. Hunter Holloway will be back for the winning round with this, her second ride. La Rochelle, in fact, fourth best, so we'll see her in the latter half of the draw. Say Clear puts them through. It means a maximum of 3 riders on 4 faults. Nico Gamboa, Frank Owens, Arturo Parado Vallejo. Minimum 2, maximum 3 on faults coming forward to the winning round. Arturo Parado Vallejo and Botero waiting to see whether they are overtaken here by Daniel Bedoya and Jumpstar Uno. Daniel jumped a clear earlier on with Quimi del Massé. But Daniel could be, like Aaron Vale last night in our international, the only rider to be double-handed in the short course round. Not quite a jump off. Again, faults and time are going to be absolutely influential. There'll be faults across the 2 rounds. Time in that winning round, that will decide this competition. You saw Daniel have the horse very nicely collected going around the top of the ring, and then when he saw the line and the spot he wanted on the approach to the October Hill, he just opened the throttle that little bit. You could see him surge forward. The plank goes, and it's rare that it's gone. I thought it was set there in quite a tricky spot, waiting and lurking to offer 4 faults to many of our competitors. Now it's going to come down to the speed of his 4 faults. 64.655. He's slower. He's 67.702. Daniel Bedoya with the plank down for Jumpstar Uno. And it means that Daniel will be back, but just with 1 horse. So 10 coming back to us here. Let's have a look at who it will be. The first back to us will be Arturo Parado Vallejo. Frank Owens and Just Jeremy will be back second, carrying 4 faults as well. Nico Gamboa and Jin will come back carrying 4. Then we will see the first of our clears, Taylor Manning and Corlander. Then James Arkins, Jovaro, Dan Bedoya and Quimi, Hunter Holloway, La Rochelle, Matt Seifert, Lochinvar, Luis Gonsalves and Sigma, and then Ava Myers and Chico P will be the last to jump. So the standings after round 1 have them, of course, in their correct order, with Arturo sitting 10th. Pete Petchening misses out, Trap O'Neill and Epic Debut miss out. Trap, who just had 1 down on that final run alongside the VIP at the Vitalized double. Nico Gamboa's early ride, NKH Honey Badger, set pretty much the standard with 4 faults in that sort of 67. We thought that was a pretty competitive time. Little did we know how fast they would get. And there you see, actually, again, you go back to it. We're sorting the wheat from the chaff. We're getting the clears, and yet we're not seeing cricket scores at the other end. So those few on 12 faults, including Rachel Lindsay and Cocky Doo, rounding out the first round result. But of course, 10 coming back to us, and we're just going to set the arena up, strip out the materials that are necessary to open up a line or 2 for them. Shorten track here for the winning round to come in the October Hill Farm competition, the meter 40 winning round for the national top tier horses for the award of the Hope Cup here at the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour Fort Worth International. Stay with us. Welcome back. Anderson Lima sets the second round track with a 43-second time allowed. The winning round. 7 obstacles, 8 jumping efforts, and we're going to be shown around by our first to go here, bringing forward 4 faults, Arturo Parado, Vallejo, and Botero. Frank Owens brings forward 4. Nico Gamboa brings forward 4 faults. Taylor Manning will be the first we see coming forward on 0. And going right the way through to the fastest 0 from the first round, Ava Myers out of Heineken Show Stables with Chico P. So, the 4 being shown is all from the first round. They come around from the green and white. They ride that line. Of course, we've moved the plank down, put a rail at the top of the autumn leaves, jumps a little bit on the angle across the Neon Bunnies. It's up into the corner where the water tray is still under the October Hill Farm, and then down towards this final question, the Split Rock Vertical. There's nothing to add here. That's exactly what you want in a winning round. 34 on the clock. Arturo puts the pressure on here with Botero. Is it going to be enough? But, you know, now Arturo, he's done. He's on 4. Nothing can change that. All of those riders on 0 could so easily suddenly drift out to 4. And if they're slower than him, they're behind him. Just Jeremy E.S. and Frank Owens. Frank, who was initially a very fast 4-faulter, it always looked good for him to make it through. Actually, then as it developed, we got more and more clears, and he ended up as our 9th best in that first round. But now, of course, there's a little grudge match between these 3 on 4 faults. 34.068 was the time taken by Arturo Parado Vallejo. So, interestingly, Frank's much further to the left of the Neon Bunnies, jumps it much straighter. Arturo jumped it right on the angle. As we said, Arturo has been fast in every class he's ridden in, but this is fast as well. It is faster. 33.364 for Frank Owens to go into the lead. Frank and Just Jeremy out of San Antonio, Texas, are our leaders at the moment. Again, adding nothing to their first round score. But it's really going to be down to our final rider on 4 faults to try and set such a fast pace that we force people into problems, force those clears into touching and pulling a rail, and really changing the dynamic of this class. Of course, for those 7 or so riders on the clear, they can also think about playing the safety game, trying to make sure of the clear round because they're on 0. They have the advantage. They are on the front foot. But then they maybe sacrifice their chance to be the winner of this class. To be the winner of this class, you need to be clear and fast. Going fast increases the risk of having the rail and falling behind these fast 2-round 4-fault scores. Nico Gamboa and Jin. Jin just got a little bit under the orange and red autumn leaves here. See whether that doesn't really seem to dent Nico's confidence. He keeps challenging. He is on the same line as Frank Owens over the Neon Bunnies. He jumps the October Hill. It goes. October Hill, a big part of the Heineken operation for whom Nico rides, and that is so often the irony of this. When there's a fence directly associated with you, your family, your sponsorship, your patrons, that's so often the one that comes down for you when the chips are down. So Nico is going to be on 8 faults. He drops to 3rd of 3, as we've seen so far, as we go forward to our clear round riders. Taylor Manning brings forward 0. Taylor with Corlander van der Ketje. And again, I think this is a very, very sensible path to take. They're not all out. They're not right up there in top gear or beyond, you know, using the turbo boost, however you might describe. Oh, my goodness! As Taylor wasn't putting the pressure on pace-wise, but just turned, I think, a little bit shorter than she expected up to the Neon Bunnies. You could see her just at the last moment, knowing that maybe the horse would just stop out and say, this is impossible, and that is exactly what happened, unfortunately, and it happened so quickly that, unfortunately, it's a parting of the ways, and that will result in elimination. They'll finish, of course, top 10. They are still ranked in front of everyone who didn't make it into the winning round, but eliminated, sadly, in the winning round. So will be overtaken then by the 3 riders on 4. So sitting 4th in the overall ranking of the class after we've seen 4. And we go now to Australian Championship rider James Arkins with Jovaro N. So here we are, these 4 falters, especially the fastest of our 4 falters in the lead at the moment, Frank Owens, climbs again. You'd have to say, because is this pair, now that they are on a 2-round total of 4, going to be faster overall than 33.364? Well, it's possible. 5 or 6 seconds to get home having jumped the October Hill. Yeah, they are. They're going to be comfortably in front, actually. 32.904, but opening the door for the others. That's in the lead at the moment. So in a way, our Australian rider James hasn't really lost a place. Still sits 6th or better, exactly as he was coming forward from the first round. But a clear could have helped him climb the leaderboard. It stops the relentless rise of Frank Owens. Frank, who has thus far made it up from, you know, in theory, sort of 9th after the first round up to minimum of 7th place. Let's see what happens as we carry on here. Following James into the ring, we've got Daniel Bedoya and Kimi Delmasse. Daniel and Kimi gave us our first clear round over Anderson Lima and Nick Granat's track. Starts our run of the final 5. Right. Oh my goodness, this is such a dramatic winning round. First of all, we've already set up for drama by bringing forward riders with faults. And then the next thing is 2 of our 0 scores. 1 eliminated for a refusal, 1 here with a refusal in the winning round. So 4 for jumping time faults as well. It is a grand total of 13 in the winning round for the pair. Daniel Bedoya, as you can say, dropping down 5 places. So it means James Arkins and Jovaro N now do move up, even having had the rail in the winning round. Interestingly, none of our clears have gone clear so far when they've come back to us. We had 7. We've seen 3 of them so far, all picking up penalties. 4 more to see. All, of course, bringing forward the 0 score. Hunter Holloway, already a winner with us this week at this top tier of national jumping. So the October Hill goes down. Hunter Holloway won't be double clear. Can she be faster than James? 32.904, no. 34.449, slower than James Arkins, slower than Frank Owens, slower than Arturo Parado. So Hunter Holloway drops all the way behind the riders who came forward with 4 faults from the first round. So Frank Owens, Arturo Parado with 4 from the first round, sitting second and third at the moment. James Arkins clear in the first round, 4 in the second round, and he's the fastest winning round time. So he is up there. He is our leader. As we come back from Hunter now to our penultimate rider. It could easily be a Texas victory with Matt Seifert and Ava Myers as our final 2, Matt and Lochin Var. Matt going to hopefully bring his vast experience to bear to deliver victory. He gets a very, very good turn here. Lochin Var working well for Matt. Double clear, of course, guarantees podium, and he's not going to be double clear. The October Hill comes down. Matt Seifert, what's the time going to be? 32.904 leads, 34.239. 1.3 seconds behind puts Matt Seifert and Lochin Var into 4th. James Arkins, on a 2-round total of 4, is going to finish second. He was, from memory, I think the slowest of our clears. Not quite. He came in, he was 6th after the first round. He's going to be second at a minimum. Frank Owens, Arturo Parado, who were down in the bottom 3 after the first round. They have both jumped clear this time. They've both gone fast, and they sit at the moment second and third. So, Arturo Parado Vallejo, winner already this week on the National Tour. Kind of has one step on the podium. Here is Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Sigma, second best in that initial round of jumping. It is a tough turn there. Luis Sabino goes for the angle. It's not quite what gave Frank Owens such a good time early on in the draw, but look at this. He's done it, double clear. That's good enough. The time is unimportant if you can deliver the double clear. Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Sigma become our first double clear in the winning round. So Ava Myers, the young talent here in Texas. Ava, trained by Christian Heineken with Chico P. Now, the dynamic from 30 seconds ago has changed. At that point, a double clear was good enough. Then Luis Sabino gave us that first double clear. So now Ava has to do both. She has to be both clear and fast. 34.757 is not too shabby around this track from Luis Sabino, but I have seen this pair absolutely fly. Now it's about finding that very, very fine middle line of being fast enough without being so fast. So, oh, the October Hill goes. Ava Myers, where will she end up? Look at this time. It's so good. 32.229. She will take second place. She's just overtaken by Luis Sabino. Luckily enough, the natural pace of this pair has carried them through, even picking up 4 faults to find themselves in second place. What a class, what a winning round here at the October Hill Farm for the award of the Hope Cup. A really great Friday afternoon class to finish our 3rd day here in Fort Worth. Luis Sabino Gonçalves is the immaculate double clear to take victory. Ava Myers unlucky with the rail. James Arkins also a rail in the second round. Frank Owens and Arturo, though, their 4 faults come forward from the first round. Matt Seifert, 4 in the second round. And we see Hunter, Nico, Daniel Bedoya and Taylor Manning all winning round contenders, besting the likes of Pete Petchening, Ned Cunniff there with the slowest of the 4s, Rachel Lindsay on 8, and then from memory just over the page it's going to be those few who had 12 faults in the initial round. Well, we'll throw it out to Eamon McGowan and the team here in the bowl as we prepare for awards. And we'll hear from Lewis as well as our winner of this $20,000 national class, a national top tier of competition here in Fort Worth that will conclude with the Jarvis National Prix on Sunday afternoon. So stay with us for that. And of course, don't forget to have all your subscription and logins ready to Clip My Horse and FEI TV for tomorrow night's Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. But as ever, you can follow along live streaming of every class at the show, of course, through the normal channels. Thanks so much for being with us today, and we look forward to having you back with us tomorrow. But of course, stay with us for awards too, and really help us, even from afar, congratulate these riders for what was, as I keep saying, a great, great class here this afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
We welcome in the top 8 in reverse order of merit in the October Hill Farm Hope Cup. The top 8, as always, comes in, and we also welcome into the arena Christian Heineken on behalf of the October Hill Farm and Stephanie from the team at the Split Rock Jumping Tour to make the presentation of awards here in the Coliseum in the International Arena for the Lugano Diamond Split Rock Jumping Tour, the Fort Worth International Horseshoe. This, the $20,000 October Hill Farm Hope Cup for the winning round, and the man who comes out on top. We're going to congratulate them all. We're going to take you up the line through the top 8 who's making their way in now. They're coming in reverse order, 8th up to 1st. Well, delighted to have Christian Heineken and Stephanie from the Split Rock Jumping team to be congratulating the top 8 down there and saying well done to 8th place. It's Nicholas Gamboa. He's been having a good week here at the Fort Worth International Horseshoe and rounds out today with the Heineken Show Stables Gin in 8th place. We then go to 7th. She's been in the ribbons in the winners enclosure as well. Hunter Holloway in 7th with La Rochelle. 6th place then, it's Matt Seifert and Lochinvar, a horse that he was placed in the top 3 yesterday with and rounds out today in the top 6. Then we go to 5th place, the man from Mexico, Arturo Parada Vallejo and Botero. The top 4, well, that's made up of Frank Owens with the DS Holdings, Just Jeremy ES. 3rd place is James Harkins, the man from New South Wales, down under Joe Varro N. Our runner-up today, Ava Myers, the best for Team USA with Chico P. And our victor and our champion, the man from the Algarve in Portugal, Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Sigma. So, off they get, Luis, Ava and James as they head towards our digital podium now. They're going to go to the podium, then we're going to have photographs, we're going to have the Anthem of Portugal, and then we'll have the victory gallops to conclude this, the October Hill Farm Hope Cup. The Hope Cup featuring again here at the Fort Worth International Horseshoe. So to the podium in 3rd place is James Harkins, in 2nd is Ava Myers, and our winner from the Algarve, but been based here for 2.5 years now, is Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Sigma. Smile for the camera, photographs all round, and in come the team from the October Hill Farm. Tremendous supporters and sponsors here at the Split Rock Jumping Tours Fort Worth International Horseshoe. Well, there is a lovely photograph, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at the Fort Worth International Horse Show. Smile, give the camera a wave. There's the winning photograph. Well done, Luis Sabino Gonçalves. And in honour of Luis from Portugal, can I ask you please to rise and be upstanding for the national anthem of the winning nation? It's for Portugal. Give a round of applause to Luis Sabino Gonçalves and Sigma, winners of this, the October Hill Farm Hope Cup, rounded out on top. Well done, Luis. So Luis, Ava, James, we're going to invite back up on their rides, and then it's victory gallop time, and we'll have a quick word with our winner, Luis, down there again on the podium. Thanks for being with us. If you want to see more jumping action, we have the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup of North America here tomorrow night at 7:30 at the Fort Worth International Horse Show. Congratulations to them all. We are set now for the victory gallop. Can you please put your hands together for the winner of the October Hill Farm Hope Cup, Luis Sabino Gonçalves. Okay, come on, Luis Sabino Gonçalves, outra vez, one more time. The October Hill Farm Hope Cup comes to a conclusion, and final congratulations there to Luis. Oh, steady on, Louis. We'll get his ribbon picked up. Then we're going to have a word with him, and that will wrap up the Friday here in Fort Worth for the Split Rock Jumping Tours Fort Worth International Horse Show presented by Lugano Diamonds. Jack, down there on the arena floor, is going to just invite Luis across to the podium in a minute. We'll just get the horse settled, and Louis will jump off and come back into the arena for our winner's interview. Well, down there is our winner of the Hope Cup and our ringmaster, Jack. Jack, let's have a little chat with Luis.
Thank you, Eamon. I'm here with Luis. Second time we've heard an international or other than American anthem tonight. Luis, parabéns.
Muito obrigado.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. How's it feel to win a Split Rock event?
I love to be here. It's my second time. I feel like a family show with a very nice atmosphere. We are competing, but with a lot of fair play and nice parties, where all the riders can stay together and talk, and it's really nice.
You seem to be having a great time. I love watching you ride. Every time you're smiling, especially on that horse. Tell us about your horse for tonight's Hope Cup.
It's a horse that I bought in France 1 year ago. It was a little bit green, not too much dressage, but he's a very clever horse, and he's fast and he's careful, but he has a lot of scope. He already did 145 and winning, and I'm very happy because indoor is always a little bit more difficult for that blood horses, but he did it well.
He seemed just as excited about you about the win. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much. And
Muito obrigado,
congratulations for
Luís.
your organization.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lewis. That's very kind. Bon night. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, everybody, for today. We've got 2 more big days left here at the Split Rock Jumping Tour for the Fort Worth International. Have a safe evening tonight. We'll see you bright and early at 7:30.